Okay, guys. Today we're going to do a late night chat, and the reason is I'm not quite tired yet, and I kind of want to make it up to some of you guys. So during the game, we couldn't really chat much because we were focusing on the gameplay. The landlord, fortunately enough, took my advice and did deal with the plumbing problem. So there's no water right now in the building, which because he had to shut off the water main. So at least he's not going to have a flooding. He's not going to be flooding as always. But it's just frustrating to know that you know. So I think today we're going to talk about something which is related to all this plumbing ballyboo, which is a variety of news articles and feelings I have about what's going on in the world right now. And the first thing I wanted to cover is that the situation globally is not getting any better. Okay, there is absolutely all man-made systems have gone down the crapper. Depending on who you talk to, you will hear a variety of answers about what's going on. Now, first of all, these are my opinions. They may not match your opinions. They may not reflect anyone else's views. If they do, that's good or bad. That's up to you. I don't care. But anyway, I wanted to just talk about some things before I do want to go to bed. I want to try to get to sleep by 12, by 1 o'clock, 2 in the morning. So I'm going to cover what's going on the infrastructural front. I'm going to talk about what's going on with the my life, your life, everybody else's lives, as far as I can. Everybody's life is different, so what I'm going to cover may not reflect your life, and it may reflect your life. Okay. First thing is that it's a mess out there. Besides the hyperinflation, we have infrastructure is collapsing. Lawlessness is taking control over everything. There's food shortages. There's uprisings everywhere. I'm trying to bring up a topic that is certainly something that we all know deep down that YouTube wish didn't exist. Sorry, YouTube. Maybe people on the far left wish that we could just sweep it under the rug, but the reality is we can't sweep it under the rug anymore. It's getting to be too bad, too crazy. And a major activist for Antifa BLM in Milwaukee, Wisconsin has said that after the Christmas pageant attack, he says that we are now getting ready to enter into a civil war against the white population. He said this on Facebook Live. In fact, that's scary, right? You're talking about now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start attacking white people. It's not going to take much to see that one of the ways that they can attack everybody in a civil war is to shut down infrastructures. Electric grid, waterworks, you name it, right? Especially in the cities. No transportation, no fuel, no supplies, and the whole entire system is going to collapse like a house of cards. Okay, everything is already seeing this now with the high prices of fuel that people cannot afford to travel. There are not going to be people who are going to be traveling out of an area because fuel has gotten to be too high. Okay? So if the thugs decided to sabotage or attack the waterworks or electric power generating plant, it's clearly obvious what's going to happen. There's not going to be power. There's not going to be water. They might decide to attack the gas works. And the next thing you know, you don't get gas, you don't get water, you don't get power. You might even go, in fact, just attack the phone company. Then you have no water, no power, no gas, no phone. Maybe even sabotage the cable company. Then you have no water, no gas, no phone, no anything. Okay, infrastructure is so interconnected. We already see this going on right now. What's going on with the EBT SNAP? The EBT SNAP system is partially offline right now. There is no knowledge of why some areas are still working fine, and other areas of the country they can't use their EBT SNAP cards at all. They're just not working for online shopping. So, like I said, if these people are as savvy as some of them say they are, it would be very easy to totally choke out everybody by shutting down the infrastructure. So that's a real problem. Okay, that's a real problem. Infrastructure fails, you are definitely out of luck. It's winter time is coming, guys. On the 21st of December. It's winter is coming. Officially, Yule is the start of winter. This is not a good time for anybody in the northern hemisphere. But the fact is that if these thugs decided to sabotage the key infrastructures that we need, people will die from hypothermia. That is not fun. That is not even funny at all. In fact, I should change this since we are talking about infrastructure. I am going to cover this as an infrastructure news article. Because it is an infrastructure news article. So let me cover this here. Let me change this to what if infrastructure fails? Okay, good. Okay, that's the subtitle. Let's not forget, in the modern age, the social media platforms are also infrastructure. Okay? So if the infrastructure system fails, social media fails. I've heard people call 911 because Facebook goes down. And I think that's kind of frightening to think about, is that someone calls the emergency services because Facebook goes down. But the truth is that we're so interconnected to all the social media platforms and the internet. It doesn't take long for it to go, how you doing, Paul? It would not take long for the infrastructure to fail at all. Okay? And yet, we don't have any backup systems. We don't have a secondary, we don't have any tertiary systems. For example, right now, my landlord has to fix the water pipe downstairs. We don't have any running water. What if you have to use the bathroom? You have two choices. Either hold it or go somewhere else. Pee's not a problem, right? There's an old saying. If it's yellow, let it melt. If it's brown, flush it down. The problem is you can't flush it down. There's no water for flushing down the brown. So that means that someone's going to eventually have to figure out another way to deal with waste management. All things are getting... and I think getting worse. Absolutely. Denise, things are getting worse. It's getting out of hand all over the planet. But to have a so-called Antifa BLM activist in Milwaukee saying this is the time to have a civil war against the white guy in the cities is absolutely disastrous. With defunding the police on top of everything else, people are sitting ducks. I'm just saying is that I wonder how we're going to manage if these thuggaroos get smart enough to realize to shut down the electric grid, the power grid, the water grid, the gas grid, the telephone system, the cable systems. Manage to somehow find a way to shut down the head end of satellite dishes, cellular communications towers. Yeah, the problem is going to get much worse. Well, Bill, much thank you for the 5. Much appreciated. Definitely appreciate it. I don't normally do a show at this time of night, but like I was thinking about it, things are just getting out of hand. Completely out of hand. Completely. There is no way, unless you happen to be one of the lucky ones that has backup systems, such as your own personal water system, your own septic system, your own house, latrine. You ain't got it. You ain't got no garden. You ain't got no refrigeration. You ain't got no food. You're dead. Alright? That's a fact. Nothing can prevent the collapse of infrastructure fails. Exactly. 1977, let's not forget 2003. 2003, the power grid, with the wiring up in Ohio, caused during the heat of the summer, the power grid in New York City and other similar states to totally go offline. The only reason why ISO New England didn't fail was because they saw the sudden load on the circuit boards and they shut down and disconnected from the grid. We have also the situation with the super volcano. If that thing blows its top, or induced to blow its top, after all, it takes a couple 100 pounds of high explosives to blow up the mantle dome, and that's going to cause the thing to go just basically shatter, and it's under a lot of pressure. And some smart geology terrorists would do it. And the difference was in 2003 was people were more calm than they were in 1977. 1977 it was riots in New York City. But it's a terrifying thought that we, especially in the urban environment, I'm in the suburbs. I'm actually in the rural, I'm in the fringe. I'm kind of in the suburbs, but I'm actually in the fringe. We're a little better off at one level because we're not surrounded by people. What was it that George Carlin said about one thing about living on the peninsula? You're only surrounded by assholes on three sides. Well, when you live in the countryside like I am, you've got human beings surrounding you on all sides. But they seem to be all kind of aware of the seriousness and all figured out backup plans. I don't worry about those DEM jerks. I'll talk unless they are in a car. If extended power outages, nuclear, yes, I know about that, Stan. Exactly. Because most power plants, nuclear ones especially, depend on power to keep the waste fuel rods cool. Look what happened with the Daiichi Fukushima power plant when the diesel generators failed because they flooded out. Okay? That's exactly what I'm concerned about. Even if the flooding didn't happen here, if once they went on the diesel fuel, it's over. It's over. They don't have backup energy systems. And it's totally relevant. Okay? So, we don't like to cover this in the morning shows because the morning shows, we're trying to have a positive spin. We try to anyway. But when I see what's going on even in this building with the plumbing, and this is something that's small scale. Imagine like what happened last time at Autumn Storm Alfred when we had snow in Winston and knocked out power for almost a week. And it was freezing. It was right before Halloween. The real scary stuff was really there. Right before Halloween, people were actually making campfires in the front of their houses to cook because they didn't have a choice. You couldn't charge your cell phone. You couldn't do anything. Nuclear is the only way we could survive. That's in the immediate time, yeah. Because once Yellowstone blows its top, either because of man-made intervention or by natural means from earthquakes, nuclear power is the only resource other than hydroelectric that will be running. Wind might be if there's enough wind, but solar, no. It's going to be dark 24 hours a day. That's going to result in a lot of death of plants, animals. After all, once the plants go, the animals are going to go next, okay? So, yes, it's a real concern. So, thinking about this and trying to explain this to Ed tonight, he got rightfully very scared. He was like, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, first of all, thank your lucky stars. You're not living in an urban environment, but you're dependent on supplies. Ask the people of Rome. A lot of stuff, all the supplies came outside of Rome that were brought into the city by carriages. And once the invaders sacked Rome, all they had to do was shut off the supply lines. The city was basically in a standstill. It was not long before the Visigoths and the Huns realized, shut down the trade routes, prevent all supplies going in or out of Rome, and the city of Rome will be desperately fail. And that's what happened. These guys were originally hired mercenaries by the Roman army, and so they knew all about this kind of system of shutting down supply lines, and it's what they did. How you doing, Brian King? I'm having Thanksgiving dinner right now. My family is listening to your show while we eat. Be thankful you got the ability to have a Thanksgiving dinner at all. A lot of people don't even get that option. So, that's, again, as we are finding out, container shipping situation. Shut down the supply lines to a city. And everybody's at the mercy of marauders, and people are going to get violent. They're going to get hungry. They're going to steal your stuff. They're going to take advantage of you. So when I look at what I see, and I hear some so-called BLM Antifa professional organizers saying the Christmas massacre is the beginning of a civil war. I gotta tell you guys, if you're in the city, especially one that has defunded the police, you may not be able to get out in time at all. You are screwed, period. It's over. You guys do not have anything. If you got a life, you got a shirt on your back, and you're not suffering any major damages right now, be thankful, because when they steamrollers come of the hordes and they tear you up your city, the modern day Visigoths and the Huns, the modern barbarians sack the United States cities. Just like Rome, your city is going to go kaplam. It's going to fail. I mean, just be lucky. Stan says, if decommissioned Indian Point nuclear plant and Hudson River melts down, the airborne radiation death will float your way to Winston in 2 to 3 days. Absolutely. Well, you have an advantage. You got some more knowledge of what they're up to. But a lot of people don't even have that. Well, that's the reality, guys. I've been studying this stuff for a long time. And it is scary. Ukraine is next. I would rather use bladed weapons. But that's me. You know, I'm a frost mage. Sorry, but throwing equivalent of frost bolts of liquid nitrogen isn't exactly going to be a practical option. You're in South Africa. You've already been through the apartheid. You already know what I'm talking about. Yes, Andrew, but the problem is when this stuff starts happening in your backyard, you can't see out of it. You're in the middle of it, even if you don't want to be in the middle of it. You understand? I mean, yeah, I know the Virgo and me says the same thing. Is let's try to stay out of this as much as we can. But the Virgo and me is saying is we may not have a choice. We're going to have to realize that just by being here, we're involved one way or another, even if we're on the sideline. You know, And the fact of the matter is those with little to no nothing have for resources are going to be the most likely to fall first. It is scary now. And it's going to get a lot worse. A lot faster. So, I mean, in some ways, of course, playing World of Warcraft is a game. We know it's a game, But then I was thinking about this when I'm realizing is I'm playing the game and I'm being attacked on all sides by a Defiest gang. And what happens if this Defiant gang, what happens to be your local neighbors with rocks and clubs? You're not one guy, not two, but four guys slamming on you, slicing you, beating the living daylights out of you. Like they did one poor guy in a wheelchair. In New York, they robbed a guy in a wheelchair. They even knocked his wheelchair over. The poor guy couldn't even get up. They totally cleaned him out. Yeah, I think a ranged weapon would make sense. I mean, a crossbow would make sense, or a compound bow. A gun is okay, as long as you realize it's going to make a lot of noise. It's going to alert the enemy to your position. Yeah, I do. Give me a sword. Give me a shield. I don't know about you. I know I'm registered blind, but if I have to, I will basically go out there and fight to the last breath. But I'm not the kind of person who fights for things that's in vain. Trust me. I mean, if it comes down to protecting what I consider important, my life and my friends, my family, I will fight. Well, that's where buckshot comes in, or birdshot. But of course, birdshot ain't gonna do crap for you. It might make lots of little holes in your enemy, but it ain't gonna do much good damage. You need solid slugs. You need a deer slug. That's what you need. Oh yeah, sure. Until you run out of ammunition. Then what? Ask the Branch Davidians. They were armed to the teeth. They're building in more weapons and guns, and thanks to their leader there, David Koresh, this Seventh-day Adventist group was basically armed to the teeth. But one major mistake. They were not quite ready to attack the ATF. The Golden Hordes will exit the cities and come for the land. Chemical dialysis will be the first to die off. Absolutely. And not just dialysis, those are respirators, those that are depending on mechanized survival techniques are going to be the first to go. And even if those that do not need emergency medical care, let's say even the infirm, I'm kind of a risk here because I am partially infirm. So what happens to me? I might fare better than some, but for how long? How many hit points of damage can I take before they get me too? Could a crowd of people, I hate saying this, but it's true, you gotta carry a few magazines on you, but we roll with 210 rounds on the rest. And that drags us all in. The point is it doesn't matter how many people you have or how much rounds you got. You gotta need to restock. If anything, I mean, you guys play combat games. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't care which game you play. You know, once you run out of ammo, especially using a gun or a bazooka or whatever, you're a sitting duck. Especially if Charlie's all around you. How are you going to resupply? You can't. Because you need to use your gun, your weapons to get across the enemy front lines which are surrounding you. You're choked off. That's bad news. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, the urban setting. The urban setting, the horde let's call them the horde. Okay? The horde of people, angry mobs of people, like you said, are going to leave the cities and surge a countryside to rape and pillage, and they're not going to stop because they don't want to stop, because once they get the bloodlust, they're going to keep going. Exactly, Andrew, exactly. Well, I don't know about that, but it is a possibility. Is supplies are already getting tight in the stores. It's pretty scary. And you wonder why people who are Virgos can't sleep by night. You know, we've been planning this. We look at this. We watch what's going on, and the first thing we go is, wait, I don't have money for an MRE stash. I don't have money to build up a stockpile of armaments. I don't have money to stack up a couple 1,000 pounds of ammunition. What am I going to do? Face it, you're going to have to hunker in the bunker. Even if the bunker happens to be on the 3rd floor, apartment number 9. You're basically no choice. Of course, the Marauders are going to use the oldest weapon of all, fire. They burn this building down. They're not going to have any place to go. Ask the Huns and the Visigoths about the power of fire. Ask Caligula when he watched Rome burn. Fire is a real threat, especially as a weapon. Of course they're going to take Taiwan at the same time. You can count on that. And probably Hong Kong too. It's serious. So, I mean, like, I like to try to think of positive things in the morning shows, but seriously? Denise, money isn't going to matter. Is it electronic funds? Is it plastic money? Is it real gold and silver bullion? If it's not the latter, you're in the mercy of a banking system that may not be there when you need it. That's the whole problem. The banking system is not going to be there once the infrastructure fails, once the communications grid goes down, once all the other infrastructure systems fail. You're not going to have money. You might have to dig back your smoker to cook. We might have to. Oh, well, is it gold or silver bullion? If it's paper money in the bank, electronic credits, it's as good as not money. If you have physical gold and silver bullion coin, what they call junk silver. It really isn't junk. It's just small denominations of silver and copper and maybe some gold coin. You might be better off. Everybody talks about Bitcoin, like cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency ain't going to do you crap if the infrastructure goes down, because you can't buy anything with cryptocurrency. I think that Jonah may be shocked or so. You might have to rig up a back here. Nope, it is in the bank. Okay, so like I said, it's not useful. I think, though, China may be shocked. Denise, no, I have no gold and silver except for my rings and some jewelry. You're going to be bartering what you got to survive. Let's just hope that whoever you barter with is going to be willing to accept those as currency. That's scary. That's reality. Any paper money, any electronic money is useless. Because once the system goes down, once the grid fails, it doesn't matter how much electronic currency you got. It's not going to do any good. Same thing with cryptocurrency wallets. What are you going to do? Hand out printed hashes of money? Here, I have 3 Bitcoin here and some Ethereum. Here's the hashes on printed paper. Sorry, I don't need hashes. I need actual gold and silver. You know, you might be in double trouble. 1, You're going to be depending on money that may not exist, too. Yet at the same time, you think just because you printed out the hashes, it means you're going to be doing good. I don't even think it's the United States, Brian K. I'm worried about getting attacked by another country. It's a civil war potential. That means it's going to be within the country. And then, like Ed pointed out, there's still a lot of disappointment, just like between the North and the South. Never mind the blacks and the whites. You could potentially have two underpinnings going on at the same time. Okay? One, in the Civil War, which ended around 1865, 66, okay? The South lost. Okay? However, the South has some of the best fighters, and they still do to this day. They're well equipped with arms. They know how to use firearms. They know how to hunt. They know how to trap. Okay? Especially a lot of the people who lived in the bush. You got them who still hold grudges against the North. And that said, he ran into this in Florida and Tampa. And second of all, you've also got the white versus black thing. There's another group we don't talk much about because they haven't said much. What about the indigenous people of the United States? Hi, Rusty. How are you doing today? My kitty knows I'm getting a little stressed out. Now you wake up. Oh, I'm okay. So I just want to... All right, let me get the cat on the screen because he's always nice to have him on the screen. Oh, yeah, by the way, speaking of this, what about this microphone? I got it. Let me get Rusty on camera. Let me get the kitty on camera. Let's see. Oh, I can get the rear one on, but I want to get the rear one. I want to show his butt. Studio webcam. There we go. Let's get Rusty on camera. Always nice to see the cat. Yeah, I actually slept pretty early, pretty long night, so I'm not really tired right now. I actually slept till about 8 o'clock at night. Okay, I didn't even look at the news yet. But, this cat here is aware of what's going on. He's a smart kitty. He knows. Rusty's no dummy. Rusty knows different. See, it's... Yeah. It happens. Well, then just the foot thing... Quit batching about it. And get a firearm. Sure, except right now, typical firearms are pretty expensive. At least a good, decent 22 gauge shotgun. It's not a 12 gauge shotgun. Is still pretty expensive. 12 gauge shotgun loaded with deer slugs is going to be what you need. Deer slugs, Coal and silver will be worthless when death by starvation is days away. Food, water, and shelter will be priceless. Absolutely, Stan. I agree with that. Yes, I agree. And people will do whatever they can to get food, especially to feed their families. There's no joke. Yeah. Yeah, well, right now I don't even have a gun permit yet. Don't forget, where I live, you have to have a gun permit and you have to have a trigger lock. Oh, I mean, yeah, you could use buckshot. Yeah, you can use buckshot. But a sword is still good for close quarters, though. Yes, you need a gun license in Connecticut. The world is bad, but I think we'll learn from this. one news article I landed on top of it yesterday said over 240 million Americans will die. That is more than 2/3 of the American population. Actually, it's almost like 3/4 of it. One of the reasons is Yellowstone could either be deliberately designed to erupt by its sabotage, like destroying the mantle covering the magma chamber, which could easily be done with with an ICBM bunker bomb. That's all it takes, is a bunker buster. If you do that, you hit the right place in the mantle dome, it's going to explode. There's a lot of pressure underneath that dome, and it's going to go boom. Unfortunately, it's true. Late night show. Late night show. Because it's something I'm seeing a lot of trends right now. Trends analysis is showing. And we are entering into that beginning of the great upheaval, which already is seeing the upheaval, but now it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot worse. Lexi's early morning show. Well, I'm glad you're not alone, Michelle, and you got Ed with you. But Ed doesn't know how to use a firearm, and I do. I actually have firearm training. No, and we don't even have a gun shop nearby either. Oh yeah, don't forget, if you think that the government is going to make it easy for me to get a firearm and with a 30-day waiting period, guess what? Don't count on it. You might be lucky enough you can get one on the black market, but there's no way so you can get time to get a gun permit. It doesn't take this to be this month, but it is coming. Oh, it is coming. The training will not be effective. No, maybe not, but you gotta take with what you got. I mean, anything you get is gonna help you. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able go against a former Navy SEAL, that has served in the military and got special training, special operations. No, but oh my God, those guys are also in the crowd too. They are also working on for both sides of the situation. So yeah, the Navy SEAL. Retired Navy SEAL has special training and operations. He's going to have an edge over me by quite a bit. He's like a level 70. I'm like a level 15. Okay? Maybe a level 10. So obviously, it will not take long for him to pull me down and put me down. That's a fact. It will go crazy in the new year. I agree, Andrew. I agree. I don't think it's going to take that long. Already, the Antifa and BLM is already rallying up their supporters to start a civil war in Wisconsin right now. That was not an accident of attacking that parade. That was on purpose. That guy did that on purpose. And obviously in places that don't even allow guns, such as the UK, you guys are really screwed even more, especially if you live in London. Because it's not going to be just a US thing. You know why? Because I can tell you right now, once they start developing their Me Too moment feeling, hey, I'm fed up too. I see that white guy over there. Screw him. Take out your switchblade and you start stabbing him. Well, why? It's because he's a white guy. That's exactly what's going to happen, I'm afraid. Yeah. Right now, the biggest problem right now in London is knife crime. Stabbings are on their all-time high. So, government trying to prevent you from getting a firearm, but they can't stop you from having a kitchen knife, can they? No. Top post collapse, barter items, medical supplies, ammo, cigarettes, liquor, mails, tooth, bicycles, horses. If you have access to a horse farm, you're going to want a horse at the very least. If you can't get a motorized vehicle, a horse is what you're going to need. I hate to sound like Mad Max, but guys, that's really what's coming. Michelle, did you hear that they are launching a rocket at an asteroid 12 a.m. Eastern Time today? It won't hit the asteroid until 2022. The asteroid is as big as the Statue of Liberty. No, but I believe it. Didn't they try to do that in Armageddon? Yes, they did. Or actually, it was Independence Day was different. Yeah, they tried to do that in the movie. If they miss that asteroid, it's going to be one major disaster. I feel the need for horses. A horse is a good tool. If you, as I said, you access a horse farm, a carriage, transportation, even if it's non-mechanical, is going to be your asset, especially if you can get a good quality horse and is conditioned to deal with in a combat situation, which not too many horses are trained for that anymore, because the United States military doesn't train people to ride horses anymore. Those people have any horsemanship, it's going to be an asset. They're going to be needed. Asteroid headed towards us. If they can't deflect it, we're done. Yeah, I believe it. Horses east of Mississippi will be eaten. Probably. I think some of them already are being eaten. And the thing is that if Yellowstone blows up, there won't be any horses in the Midwest, that's for sure. Because the Midwest will be totally uninhabitable. Because of pyroclastic flows. So all you have for the United States is like something that looks like Leroy Brown with a couple pieces gone. Mostly a little bit of the West Coast, maybe Seattle, Oregon. Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, maybe. Washington is going to be in the ocean. The rest of it's going to be covered by ash. East Coast is pretty much going to be all there. At least Connecticut will be. Part of New York will be gone. Pennsylvania will be gone. North and South Carolina are likely to be gone. You can forget Kentucky. You can part of Louisiana, according to Trends Map, shows that part of Arkansas will be gone. Kansas will be gone. Missouri will be finished. Illinois, if it isn't first torn up by the hoodlums in the city, through Chicago. Indiana, Ohio, yeah, all gone. All because of the super volcano alone. That's going to be a problem. Donations ain't going to do no good. I've heard cash ain't going to be so good. Donations are going to be pretty much non-existent. In fact, YouTube is going to pretty much be non-existent. This is the sad truth, guys. YouTube is going to be non-existent. There won't be a YouTube. Think about why. What are you going to do if there's no internet? You're not going to have a YouTube. If anything, if there was any internet at all, it would be so splintered. It would be splintered because of all the divisions. I mean, the New England might survive in part, but yeah, you know what? Not really by much, though. New England would probably be, definitely screwed over. And I noticed that YouTube right now, when I heard me talking about this, all of a sudden I see my dollar sign turn yellow. Yeah, I know it did turn yellow. Yeah, but you know what, YouTube? Why don't we take a look at the realities here? You're not going to exist. You are a West Coast company in San Bruno, California. Your infrastructure is going to be devastated. The internet is going to end up being severed because of the Yellowstone. If it ain't Yellowstone, it's going to be the horde that's going to rip up your wires. Okay? You're not going to have an infrastructure. Just quit seriously consider. Well, I don't know about guys what you're gonna do, but the point is that's the problem right now. Just worry about it, because yes, it makes sense if people band together or work together as a group in a community. A solitary person isn't going to do much good. It's going to basically, the solitary person is going to be the ones you pick off. Because it's the ones that work as a team, as a company, or a platoon, if you will. Those guys are going to be the harder ones to get. It's just like when you do World of Warcraft, right? If you have, say, 3 or 4 other people in your group, 1 or 2 people are not going to be a problem for your group. But if you got, say, another group of 5 to 7 people, at least you're more likely to come out of it alive than if you go over there all by yourself. I suggest everyone who hasn't seen it watch the Film the Road, shows Life After a Yellowstone type event. Excellent movie. If I can find it. While you're right, why don't you watch The Day After as well? Even though that talks about nuclear war. The Day After was also pretty frightening to watch. I thought you would have gotten shot at those not by now. I always waiting to mold you in. What do you mean by that? Now you got me up and thinking about this. I hope you're not going to end the stream now. No, probably not. Probably not. I mean, not right now, but, we can talk for about another 35, 40 minutes, I guess. So let's hear what you got to say. Let's hear what your side is. Michelle and Ed need to man up. I'm telling you, 2022 is going to be way worse. No kidding. And this winter will be, yes, the winter is definitely going to be similar in some ways to what has happened at the time of the George Washington crossed the Delaware River. It's going to be just as brutal. People are not ready for that. They are not ready. So, remember, the Delaware River hardly ever freezes. So when George Washington crossed the Delaware River with his troop on Christmas night in 1775 or 74, they were totally able to totally shock the British and finish them off because the British were too drunk and celebrating Christmas to be ready to fight. That's what they're going to do. That's when they are going to attack, is when everybody else is out there partying, New Year's, Christmas, Feast of the Epiphany. Yeah. And that's when I'm afraid it's going to happen. Denise says, well, I think it's crazy. I worked all my life. I own 5 properties, plus my own home. I have a winter mobile home in Florida. And then something happened, and I lose everything after all the hard work I put in. That's unfortunately what's going to happen, though. They talk about the Great Reset. This is the Great Reset. For those with wealth will be brought down to nothing, and those who were poor, well, they've already been poor, they're going to remain poor, but unless they can find some way to overcome their poverty. It happens to everybody, guys. It's reality. And I know that YouTube is going to want to go, quick, shut her up. Shut her up. She's talking too much truth. This is not what we want to hear. We want to hear phone calls and stupid fart jokes. And sorry, guys, I can't kid around with this. This is not funny. This is scary. So So everything that we hold dear, infrastructure, is just going to stop being there. It's already happening. If I only knew the taxes I pay every year. Well, here's one advantage. You don't have to pay taxes anymore. I guess you could think that's one advantage. There's no government, so you're not going to be paying taxes to it. Michelle Marie expect full collapse of the USA by 2025. Immediate concern, first couple of years will be only the day survival. Yeah, I'm gonna get the panel open, guys. Give me a second here. Gotta get that up here. Just wish I could just say it was better things ahead. Let me get the panel open. Yeah, I know we should have a panel of this. Yeah. Got this panel open here. I just wish I could say something and something positive, but I've been looking at this trends, and I don't see anything positive. Even Ecoeconomist, Canadian Prepper, is saying the same thing. Things are not going to go well. Things are not going to go well. Okay, that's working. Excellent. Okay, good. That's working. Turn on the closed captions. Then pull up the copy the link. Copy. Okay, get it here. It says here. So let's see here. To join our panel. Link. The sad truth is, one day, guys, we may not even have a show. I mean, I'm not talking about if YouTube pulls my plug. I mean, that's one thing, but I'm talking about is one day there won't be an internet to have a show on. Okay. That's pretty scary. Andrew, may go straight. Well, I actually would love to see Leo and Andrew come on the panel, too. Let's see. How can I send that to everybody? Oh, I know. Copy. I'll send you a link to both you guys. Personally invite you to join in the panel together. A&D and Leo at Leo. Okay, Command V. Okay, yeah. Good. See if we can have a discussion. Because one day, guys, I'm just going to have to admit it. Okay. You want to stop up your chit-chat taking about the U.S. from Ireland? Honestly, I don't think losing the internet would be a bad thing. Except it also shuts down the electronic funds, electronic banking system, all the M1 currency, which is fiat money, which is traded electronically. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, Ethereum, Dogecoin. No, Andrew's not. He's from Scotland. I mean, Ireland is better than South Africa, but that's literally saying nothing. It depends which part of Ireland you're talking about. The Republic of Ireland or Northern Ireland? Right now, they're both screwed up because of various reasons of supplies. Pandemic, I have my views on the pandemic, which would definitely trigger YouTube, so I won't say them here. Engage before. Really? Wait, Ireland right now has got enough problems. They had to deal with the issue of austerity in the past. As to Greece. And now we have to deal with austerity. And we got a government that doesn't know what they're doing. Scottish people are good people, and a lot of them are very knowledgeable people. A lot of smart people in the Highlands. They're used to fighting, and they're used to fighting hard. I don't know much about Belfast, but I wonder what YouTube's gonna do with this stream. You know what I would do if I was YouTube with this stream? I would just have to just throw my hands in the air and say, she's got a point. That's what I would say. That this woman is a point. I don't know what Greytown is, but for the Americans here that have very little knowledge of foreign countries, look what's going on in Los Angeles. Look what's going on in Kenosha, Wisconsin. What happened to the Kenosha, Wisconsin, where the situation was where the man plowed into that parade audience. One of the children died that was in the hospital. Unfortunately, that family and that poor child is already not going to have a nice Thanksgiving because the loved one's not home. Now the loved one is not going to be home. Trust me, Andrew. I think right now this stream is lucky enough that it doesn't get yanked by YouTube as it is. But I mean, this one I'll probably be, what I'll do is I'm going to probably move this one over to Patreon. So why don't I start the recording for right now? Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, by the way. Yep. Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, New London, Willimantic. I'll give you Willimantic is pretty bad. Torrington is getting pretty bad, too. Actually, Willimantic and Torrington are the smaller of the ones. Yeah, let me just start recording where we left off because I think we need to record what's left of the show. Yes, Andrew's here. Say hello to him. It's actually nice to talk to him again. And I would love to have you on panel anyway, Andrew. I know it's discouraging and disastrous, and it's not something we all want to hear, but what's going on right now is I really think we need to cover this. And I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy hearing your voice. It makes me relax a little bit more. Some people have a lot of invested time. Yeah. A lot of people invested their whole lives into what they do. Like I told Ed tonight, I said, in my own way, I've invested a lot of my resources into what I do here on YouTube. It's not just to make money, but when the tough stuff has to come up, I cover the tough stuff. I just afraid for everybody out there who's not prepared. There's a lot more people that don't know than that do know. Do what you want to do, Michelle. Why not just do a protest like White House at Google's headquarters? Because right now, Google's not the biggest problem we're having right now. It's not Google that I'm afraid of. Sure, they can damage my credibility, they could just damage my channel, they can damage my livelihood, but the truth is, they're not likely to kill me. Can't say the same thing about the thug who's down to nothing but his last crack pipe. Congratulations, Michelle. I know you must be happy to have one of the old regulars back. Yes, I am. I think there are 2 regulars back. Denise is here, too. One of the goals I want to try to do is mend fences, and let's try to deal with the problems that really are affecting everybody right now. How you doing, just Miss Jamie? Denise is another individual that happened to be on this channel sometimes in the past. She could say the same thing about some of you guys too, but that's not the point. Working with the media, social engineer, the civil unrest and division. I know that, Brian. I am well aware of that. They yanked Alex Jones because he yelled from the rooftop what's going on. They went after other prepping channels for the same reason. Canadian Prepper, Adapt 2030, the Open Hammer Ranch Project. They don't want people to be aware of it. But what did they themselves gain by it? Denise is a nice person. And I haven't seen you in a long time, but welcome back. I'm doing good, thank you. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Other than right now, my landlord's going to fix his water pipe in the hallway downstairs because it sprung a leak. If you're... Well, why don't you just have... First of all, I'm not near Google. Okay. That's one reason why. But I think she will still see most of us out. Thank you, Michelle. I always enjoy your show. And I'm in Florida for the winter, so I don't have to work, so I can be on and watch you. Well, welcome back. I don't usually do a show this time of night either, but, like I said, after talking to Ed, I was a little bit keyed up and concerned. He is too. But the old bull is doing it his old-fashioned way, going back to bed and sleeping it off. But I don't really know if sleeping it off is necessarily going to help, because it's not just a nightmare. You can get sleep away. So, even this morning show, by the way, YouTube has not even got done reviewing the morning show. Why? That was nothing like this. This morning show was a very peaceful show. But I'm talking about something that is potentially like hauling around nitroglycerin. Yeah, you're telling me a topic that could really seriously be the end of everything. Singapore sling. Oh, she's married, so hands off. still, I'd love to hear from Andrew's voice again. If Andrew, if you would like to come on for a little bit, I'd love to have you back on again. Same with Blazing Leo, I'd love to have you on too. Maybe someone can start a goal to fund a Kyle Rittenhouse protest at U2 Quick and simultaneously bring a BLM-style protest at YouTube Super Farms. The problem is that it's... theoretically speaking, we're like the alliance, okay? BLM is like the horde. The problem is that they got a lot of very skillful guerrilla fighters. We're depending on the equipment of Stormwind troops to protect us, but the truth is that if those guerrilla war tactics that they're doing get activated, the equipment of the Stormwind militia is not going to stop them. Well, I'll have to go sometimes, she included. Yeah. What's this address? Okay, Andrew. We had to take care of something. So the problem is, no matter how you look at it, there are going to be some people, even when the men with pitchforks and torches are outside their doors, are going to still be in denial and say that everything's okay. You know they will be. Well, that's just it. The guerrilla fighters are so effective. Why did Kyle Rittenhouse end their lives and so effortlessly? Well, because he had a firearm, and you keep bringing that up, but at the same time, they are used to doing hand-to-hand. They're not, I mean, they have some archers and gunmen, but they do tend to be mostly hand-to-hand combat. Angie says, next will be Prince Charles, but the royals have no power. Not anymore, they don't. I mean, what is the royal family going to do? I don't even think they have the power to even activate the royal army or royal navy. Queen goes through the prime minister, which is in charge of the parliament. I don't think she's going to be able to activate enough of the Royal Air Force, Army, or the Navy to defend Britain. You think it's just going to stay in the United States? No. Okay, I hear you. I'm going to get you on there now. Let's take it over to the screen. I'm coming. Give me a minute to answer the electronic door here. How you doing, Skynet? How's it going?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta fix my...
Okay, fixing him. Okay. Anyway, I'd love to try to get Andrew on here too, and Leo, and... Well, I got Paul coming on now. How you doing?
Hey, Michelle, how's it going?
Just thinking about the worst case scenarios that could be potentially...
I hear that. I hear that. You got a bit of panic going through you, Michelle.
Yeah,
you and Ed were talking, you said about the infrastructure failing and race wars and stuff. It sounds pretty crazy. I think that'd definitely be worst case scenario.
Well, if they shut down the infrastructure, that's gonna be the worst case. That's gonna be the worst case scenario for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Why don't we get Andrew on here? Can you guys? I want to get Leo too. Well, she's not on right now. I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah,
There she is. Let's see if we can get Andrew in anyway. what's the worst that could happen? Do you really want to know what the worst that could happen is?
Skynet with us?
Well, I don't know if it really matters right now. Because, like I said, if once the infrastructure goes, YouTube is going to go too.
Oh, what a shame that'll be.
Okay, Andrew. Paul, do you think ninjas are really anarchists?
Some of them can be.
Where's Eddie's in bed? He's trying to basically do the equivalent of pretend like it's nothing happening.
How can he sleep at a time like this, Michelle?
Well, I think he's trying to sleep.
How could I be sleeping at a time like this?
Stan says MicheleMarieDalene, a not guilty jogger verdict will escalate things overnight. PvP showing up in the worst case can happen.
Skynet with us?
Well, yeah, I think he is. I see his background there.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he's got his audio going.
Yeah.
He'll tune in. He's working on his audio, I think.
I don't really know if people peace would be the worst thing that could happen. I think people peace might in some ways probably just aggravate everybody, but I think he'd probably be saying is, I told you. Nah, I already knew about it. But, this is like...
Are you ready for the race war, Michelle? The whites and the browns we're going to team up.
What do you mean the whites and the browns? You mean,
For the race war.
I really, right now where I live is I'm pretty safe for the time being. That's not... most of my community is predominantly all pretty much trained ex-military, but the thing is that they're not going to be. There is a small number of minorities in my area, but not a lot of them.
Hey, I think I fixed it.
Hey,
hi guys.
Okay.
Hey Skynet, how's it going, buddy? Can you hear us?
Yep,
Yeah,
I can hear you guys.
Oh yeah, okay, good. You're coming in loud and clear as well.
How you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, the world's gonna end real soon. You ready?
Politically, yeah, the world's going to end. Physically, Earth may survive, but it's certainly going to be very different, especially if Yellowstone pops its cork or someone sabotages the cap rock over the magma chamber, and then all of a sudden...
Schmagma chamber?
Yes, over the Yellowstone caldera.
Oh, okay.
There's enough magma
okay, gotcha.
to fill the Grand Canyon 5 times with magma. That's how much magma is underneath Yellowstone.
Yeah, but that's not set to go off for another like 400 and some or 300 and some thousand years, Michelle.
No, it's not.
Time.
They're already continuous.
Is that what the condoms are named after, Michelle?
The
Magnums?
No, magma, which is
I thought she said
liquid
schmagma.
rock. As long as it's below the ground, it's known as magma. But once it comes above the ground, it becomes lava.
Yeah, it's schmagma, then it becomes lava. So,
which one do you swallow?
Michelle, that Yellowstone doesn't go off. Yellowstone goes off like every million years, and the last time it went off was like 644,000 years ago. So
yeah, and I know, and they always say that given what's going on, and they don't think it's going to take 640,000 years for it to pop. They don't know exactly when, but they say very soon, geologically speaking. So that doesn't tell us a lot.
She's got a point.
But the University of Utah is monitoring it as they always have, and they gave it condition orange.
Well, hopefully the schmagma holds off for at least a good another 100 years. I mean, let it happen to someone else.
I covered the tough stuff.
Someone else's lifetime.
It's lava once it gets out of the ground. It's lava. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in the magma chamber right now.
Let's take some phone calls, Michelle. See what the people out there got to think about this. Maybe we could get some people's opinions. Or is it too late for the phones?
I don't know. It's too late for the phones right now. But I just wanted to originally just trying to fill in the blanks because I was going to take some chat earlier when I was playing World of Warcraft, but unfortunately I was more focused on the game. Volcano Talk,
Never seen you do that before.
Denise says you have, yes, their credit name Magnum. Yeah. One time.
What'd she say?
What Denise say,
She
Michelle?
said that she found a condom in her husband's pocket called Magnum.
Oh, shit. He must have a big dick. He's wearing those
I
magnums.
asked him what he was doing with that. He said he was holding it for a friend, so his wife couldn't find it, I believe. Magnum chamber just sounds like a gun or a condom.
Denise, you better start smelling your husband's penis when he comes home. If he's walking around with Magnum condoms, if it smells like rubber or vagina.
Let's put it this way: if that thing goes up, it's gonna be worse than the Magnum 347. It's gonna 350, 300, 354, 357 Magnum gun.
357. Yeah.
And just as the 357 can do a lot of damage to a person, Yellowstone could totally mess up the entire United States. And let's not forget what's going on right now in the Canary Islands with La Palena volcano. We are seeing a lot of volcanic activity increasing right now.
What about that asteroid, Michelle?
And the asteroid.
Why are they targeting an asteroid, Michelle?
Why did they try to target an asteroid in Armageddon? Same reason.
So it was a movie.
So it wouldn't collide with the Earth, I believe?
They want to try to blow it up before it becomes a problem.
Well, how far away is it?
But if they, you know what the problem is some scientists have
It's not
said
going to meet up for an entire year.
Oh, what are we worrying about it now for? It could just go off a course within a month, deal with it 9 months,
I can tell you right now, there's more than one waiting in the background to go ahead and take its place.
What are they going to do?
They already launched it. We're fucked.
What are they going to do to destroy? Yeah, what are they doing to destroy? They're colliding something with it, or using a laser? How are they going to destroy the asteroid?
They're doing the same in the movie, and remember what happened in the movie. It actually, in some ways, unlike in reality, is we'll see breaking into little pieces. It may not necessarily help in the long term. Because then you can have lots of little pieces of debris flying everywhere. I don't think it helped in the movie either.
I got a piece of asteroid, Michelle, sitting right here on my desk.
Did you say little penises?
Denise says, just kidding, everybody's just trying to change the atmosphere a little bit from all the fear. Understandable.
Oh, thank God, Denise. Thank you for the comedic relief. That really did help a bit. I've been thinking about your husband with that in his pocket for about a minute and a half now, and it did take my mind off of things. But then I just thought, oh my God, poor Denise. What type of situation is she getting herself into right now? But thank God it was just, again, comedic
Marissa
relief.
says the movie was called Army Ghetto. Weird. I don't know what Army Ghetto, but there's a lot of Armageddon.
Let me show you my.
And then there was a few other movies that were similar themes.
Here's my space rock. Can you guys see my space rock? See my asteroid?
Did you buy that at the Army Ghetto?
Yeah.
Did you steal it from them?
An asteroid.
That looks
Unfortunately, you're right, Leo. We are literally sitting ducks. Because of the reason is that we can barely take care of the concept of a super volcano blowing up. Never mind an asteroid the size of the Statue of Liberty coming to Earth. Entering Earth's atmosphere. It might be like Thunder the Barbarian. In space, 1999, a major asteroid flew by Earth, taking away the Earth's atmosphere, leaving behind a land of magic, science, and super sorcery. But one man stood above it all to defend the individuals. His name was Thunder the Barbarian. I think that's what it goes. I used to watch as a kid.
Something like that.
What was that, Michelle?
Thunder the Bear. Close classes. You made me laugh. Standard the Barbarian.
How did the show go?
Was Thunder really standard issue? I don't think so. So the night's just about anxiety? No, the night shows are not just about anxiety. Usually they're more fun. Tonight's was a little more anxiety-inducing. And then usually not at midnight. Usually they're later on early in the evening, like 7, 8 o'clock at night, U.S. Eastern time.
We used to do really late shows. Remember we used to do really, really late shows like
what
this?
What do you call this? I don't exactly call this like...
Right. We're just reminiscing, Michelle. Skynet saying, remember when we used to do the late night shows at like midnight? You used to do like the midnight shows, the night times? Midnight with Michelle's?
Do I like Rod Stewart? He's okay, I guess. Everything gonna be just fine. As long as you keep your head on your shoulders. No pun intended. You gotta have a clear mind. You gotta have a clear goal. And if that's anything I've learned from what I've been observing, is being aware is what, and have knowledge is what's going to keep you going. Does Skynet play PC console or PC games? I don't know. Skynet, do you play games on your console or on your PC or both?
PC.
Okay. What about you, Paul?
I do a bit of both.
Okay. I only play games on my Mac. So, like I said, put me in the PC category.
Yep.
Then he says, I'm so glad you did this, Michelle. I was wide awake and could not go to sleep, and I was so happy to see you are alive. Well, thank you, Denise. I wasn't expecting to be on at this time of night either, but...
We've tried telling Michelle to do these late shows, but, she just wants to do the morning ones, and some people just aren't up that early.
Well, the problem is with the phone calls are a problem. Right now we got a good rapport going here, which is good. Nice, thanks for all the answering. Not a problem.
It's like a faucet, Michelle. You slowly turn the faucet on, and then you slowly turn the faucet off.
Yeah.
I want to rush it off.
Speaking of faucet, now the landlord has to fix the broken water pipe in his building. So right now we don't have any water at this point because they got to get the plumber.
Doesn't he also have to fix a bedroom window?
What's that?
A bedroom window.
Well, it's just... I mean, we've had problems with water. The bedroom windows can be fixed too, sooner or later.
How many days have you been without water, Michelle? He's
going to have his maintenance guy look at it. That's what he told me.
How many days have you been without water, Michelle?
Oh, less than 2 hours. So.
Oh, I thought you said the water was off yesterday as well.
It was for a very short time in the morning.
Oh, okay. So you're not like going. Okay, so he just turns it off for like an hour or two or something. Okay.
Well, the problem is that the plumber put in a new pipe, and all of a sudden it started leaking, like spraying water all over the second floor. I don't think the plumber was ready to deal with Winston's water pressure because Winston has pretty insane water pressure.
Well, using those cheap PCB pipes and stuff.
So
now, Michelle, Brian K has a very interesting question here.
What's that?
Michelle, how did you deal with the unruly black viewers in the past? When you had a unruly black viewer call in or type in the chat, how did you handle it?
Usually if I could ignore them, I'd ignore them more than anything, and it didn't matter what the color was. Any unruly audience, I usually try to ignore them unless they really continue to be a pest, and then I hide them.
You just get rid of them.
It's freezing here right now. It's freezing here right now too. In fact, I'll prove it to you. Let's get the weather forecast up here real quick here.
Is that why Ed?
What is the weather in Winston, Connecticut?
It's currently clear and -3 degrees in Winsted, Connecticut.
Oh yeah, that's cold enough. So it's like in the 20s right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Expected high today will be about 4 degrees.
I'd have some beers tonight, Michelle.
And it looks like the snow forecast changed a little bit to partly cloudy with 50% chance of precipitation. I don't see the snowflake icon right now, but that don't mean nothing. But I do see a new snowflake icon shows up for Monday. Because it's going to be a little colder, 40% chance of snow, high of 3, a low of -4. So it's definitely going to be barely above freezing in the day, and then the night times is going to definitely be getting pretty cold. So as long as the
Michelle, I
have
a question.
What?
If it starts snowing, who's going to clean up that snow outside your house? You or Ed?
Maintenance guy. Maintenance guy's got the snowblower and the plow. But what happens if the heating system ever fails?
What about your porch? Your porch outside there?
Yeah, how come you slipped last time?
That was the front of the building I slept. Last year, the landlord slipped in his parking lot. In 2019, he slipped in the parking lot.
You should sue.
Damn. Ice is dangerous when you get old.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Michelle, I noticed on your I don't know if you go walk. Do you walk in the wintertime, Michelle? Do you still do walking? I don't know the maintenance
guy's last name. I didn't ask him.
Michelle, do you still go walking in the wintertime? Because I noticed on one of your videos you were walking in the street.
Sometimes I do. But if I do this year, I'm going to take my walker with me instead. So
yeah, Michelle, why don't you use the sidewalk? I see you walking in the street, but there's a sidewalk.
Right now, the sidewalks. The problem with the snowstorms is there ain't gonna be no sidewalks because they don't shovel them very well.
Well, okay, Michelle, fair enough. But when there is no snow, though, you still walk in the street. Why don't you use the sidewalk?
I'm actually using the sidewalks more now. But the thing is that sometimes the sidewalks are kind of hard to get over because of the cracks.
It's so much more safer than walking in the middle of the street, Michelle.
I don't walk in the middle
of
the street.
Have you thought about getting chains for your walker?
Chains ain't going to work on a walker because one reason. Number one, chains only work on driving wheels. The walker doesn't have any wheels that have any motive energy behind them. They glide over things. So all chains in a walker would do is just basically impede it more because there's nothing to turn the wheels.
So how about snow tires or maybe skis for your walker? You could get like ice skates. What are those things called? The blades. You could get those.
Well, the thing is that my walker came with 2 skids in the back originally, but we replaced them with wheels.
What about maybe a plow, and you could go to work for Jimmy in the wintertime.
I don't have take trips either, but
off from the sidewalk.
Well, I know we got the leg. The leg is doing a lot better than it was a couple months ago. It's getting a lot stronger now.
Didn't Ed want to get one of those riding mowers? Couldn't you just put a plow on that and use it like both? In the winter and in the summertime?
There are people that have a snowplow attachment on there. So I think Craig said he had.
Is that what Ed was going to drive around? Instead, that was the answer. Instead of a car, was a riding mower, or was that the answer?
Yeah, skids in the. No, it came with 2 extra generic skids. If you look at the standard walker, usually there's 2 skids in the rear, and the 2 wheels are in the front.
Hey, Michelle, I remember the other day Ed was talking about getting a car and it being too expensive. Maybe you could get like a go-kart or like a riding mower like Skynet said to just travel around on.
Go-kart is too low to the ground for Ed to get down on it.
Well, I like the idea of a tractor or a riding mower, and then you could get like maybe a wagon, and you could pull you around. You guys go.
Well, Michelle's right. You got to be careful of the skid marks. Too long, too 100%. Wide, and it just really starts to leave.
The skids can ruin your day really quick. if they're not properly taken care
the
of.
thing with the skids that normally a walker comes with is they're designed for carpet and tile floors. They're not designed to deal with Winston sidewalks. Winston sidewalks, it braids the hell out of them.
Yeah, you should never put skids in like the public sidewalks anyway. You should definitely leave it for your carpet.
If I put bigger skids
or
on them,
your
if
floor.
I put something like skis on it instead of skids, that might work on snow or ice. But they're not.
You ever try them on like the couch? You ever you put the skids on the couch before, Michelle? Or like on your bed? You ever try them on like cloth? Sometimes I get skids on the cloth.
I am on a bus route, but it's not very good bus route. Just say that. It's not a very good bus route at all. It only comes by like 3 or 4 times here a day. That's it. 3 or 4 times is all the bus comes around here. So you're not going to get a lot done.
Don't they have something for the handicap, Michelle, where you can call and a reserve?
Have that. We have both in town and out of town. The in town right now is only doing mornings, and the out of town one I think is doing some afternoons, but that's about it. Yeah. Yeah. What's amazing game? Krell. Snow skids. Well, speaking of games, there's one game I want to get, and that's Derail Valley. I was going to get that, but, I didn't have the money this month to buy it, because I thought we were going to get about close to $250, and it just turns out to just pay me for September, October this month. So next month, I should be paid for the November, because right now, November is close to $100 right now. I think we're going to easily hit the $100 for November. If not close to, we're going to get pretty close. Have you ever seen a bear? Yes, I have. We have bears right outside my community. They come right down into the city. Black and brown bears. We have both kinds.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked in the forest?
No, but I've certainly seen plenty of real bears, both brown and black bears. Snow Kids is good, yeah. Snowboard Kids.
Yeah, Nintendo 64 game, Michelle.
Did you have to put a listing to find those bears? The brown and black ones?
The bears are already around this area.
They're not. They come to you, or do you have to go looking for them?
Unlocking the Ninja Guy and Snowboards Kids too. Like they come into town on Barely. No, because we're right on the edge of the rural. We're in the rural part of the area. We're just on the fringe between rural and the suburban. Bears are right outside the city.
So the brown and black bears.
As are moose and deer. We are surrounded by wildlife around here.
They feel safe in the rural area.
Wolves and coyotes are also outside too. We have all those animals too. Well, that would make sense, but like I said, there's the one mistake people sometimes make is they try to confront the bear. If you see a bear coming, go the other direction.
Michelle, check your Streamlabs.
I see it, Streamlabs. I see a donation. Thank you very much, Denise. Much appreciated. Very much appreciated. I want to try to cover more of the actual current event stuff too. I know YouTube is going to want to sit there and say, nah, I don't cover the real world stuff because we'll demonetize you. Well, sorry guys, we have to cover the real world stuff sometimes. You have bears and you're still in the offense about the shotgun? Well, the problem is I don't think they would give me a shotgun. I don't think...
Sure. Michelle, you don't have to have a permit to buy that. You can just go to any sporting goods store and purchase one of those. You just have to have the money, maybe an ID, But
I have
that's
an
about
ID,
it.
but there's still a waiting period, though.
No, not for a shotgun. If a handgun, yes, but like a rifle, I would say there's definitely you could just take that home with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian, a
purchased a few. And
shotgun's easier to shoot. Well, if it's a rifle, it's more likely to be more accurate for distance shooting.
Well,
you could probably ask Jimmy for a break on the rent if you had a gun.
But shotguns are not good for close quarters, though, because of the variety of reasons.
Maybe offer to do security and shifts, Michelle. You'll take the mornings, and Ed will take the nights.
Connecticut laws are different.
Armed security.
Given Stan works with and gets involved in legal hearings because that's his job, he probably knows a better idea what Connecticut laws are regarding firearms.
Oh yeah, well yeah, Connecticut's definitely I think it's state every state's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a 9mm and this kickback was bad. Well, yeah, your kickback from a shotgun is gonna be bad too. It's all about how you set it up.
And Michelle, I think you could handle it. I don't know about Ed though. It might put him down to the ground, but I'm pretty sure you could handle the kickback.
The sad truth is, it's a kickback. It's what makes the shotgun shell a little bit less effective because you're losing some of the momentum because of the kickback. However, I will still stand behind a bladed weapon for close quarters fighting because a bladed weapon is more likely to be effective in close quarters.
I think we just need to get you a flamethrower, Michelle.
What's that?
We just need to get you a flamethrower.
I don't want a flamethrower.
It could be like a mage, fire mage.
I carry a 38 stub in my purse at all times. I brought it to my Gun City by accident. Really? What happened? Did the metal detector catch it? And then you ended up basically having to explain why it's in your purse? Yeah, didn't get caught though. Okay, you're lucky. Some schools are almost as armed to the teeth with security guards and metal detectors too. Michelle, you could bomb the attackers and laugh at them to drown out the sounds of their agonizing screams. Snub News is a bad use of gun. Yeah, because it's not very accurate. That's the problem. Is once you get rid of the chamber, the barrel, you actually makes it more of a wider shot. That's where rifle comes in handle. It's much more accurate. Even a shotgun is kind of a cross between it's not necessarily rifled, but a shotgun is more accurate than the snub nose.
I know you like your medieval stuff, Michelle. I feel like you'd probably want like a catapult, or just like put a bunch of spikes on your door to your apartment. Just like facing outward to keep people away.
Well, a trebuchet and catapult. Catapult is a good range weapon, but it's like more stationary weapon.
That one up in front of the door.
But you're not going to have it in front of your door. It's going to probably more like on the roof, where you can actually cover more of the area around you.
Well, there you go. You're on the top floor, right?
A catapult is more of a distance weapon than anything. And I know that's not exactly something most people think about.
Again, Michelle, you like the medieval stuff, maybe just like a sharpened broomstick?
Well, sharpened stakes that makes the palisades. Like you see in Orgrimmar, those are like a palisade that was being used in a lot of medieval fortresses. And that does exactly what you expect it does. It impales the enemy on the sticks. Especially on mounted troops, the horses get impaled and then they fall on the horse's dying body, and then your archers can take them down too once they actually are dismounted. You could dump all hot oil over the BLM and again loudly laugh. That's true. Or you can also make homemade incendiaries as well. You could launch Molotov cocktails in a catapult or a ballista or a trebuchet. See, a trebuchet is in some ways it's kind of like a catapult, but it uses a counterbalance, whereas a catapult is a torsion device. That's something that people don't really think about. What's the difference between torsion? Think of it spring-loaded. But a trebuchet uses a counterweight. Michelle, I would be a little worried if you had a gun. I know your eyesight is not the good. And what I would if I walked in the door and you did not know it was him, it would probably be the possibility. That's one of the reasons I think the knife or sword is a better weapon for me.
Yeah, I mean, you could just maybe take a limb off or something with that, not necessarily kill him.
Don't forget, a sword has a lot of critical damage, guys. It's that and a dagger is good for hand to hand.
Maybe you could get one of those guns, Michelle, that the farmers use. They shoot salt pellets, so it's non-lethal. Or maybe one of those guns, like the beanbag or a rubber bullet.
Well, don't forget, the person that's trying to attack you is trying to kill you. You're not trying to deter him. You know, he's trying to kill you. Just like remember what we thought what happened with Rittenhouse. Could you see him firing rubber bullets at those thugs? They ain't gonna stop them. You need critical damage. That's what the problem is. Brian Case says, Michelle, if I had a catapult, would you be willing to launch rotting cow over corpses into Section 8 project housing in order to make the BLM people sick with disease? That's exactly what they did. They also throw human corpses too over the catapults. That's the way it was done in the Middle Ages. It worked. Seriously, it worked. You also used to throw burning oil incendiaries or gasoline incendiaries at the enemy.
It's like really big piles of poop.
And if things get bad enough, you may have to consider medieval siege weapons, because that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think any of the modern laser-guided missiles are going to help you any. Only thing is, I'd be terrified if someone threw something that had bubonic plague into a city. Bubonic plague, aka the Black Death, is not extinct. We have seen breakouts of bubonic plague in the United States in places, including what happened in the 1914 in Little China. So it is a possibility.
I don't know what the fuck happened in China, Michelle.
In Little China in San Francisco. In 1914, the Black Plague started to run amok in Little China.
Michelle, you ever see that movie Big Trouble in Little Chinatown?
I have seen it. I remember some of it. Denise R says you throw those paintballs that they say are really hurt. At least said would be able to wash them off. Throw paintballs, throw incendiary explosive, and boy, you wouldn't be able to wash that off. But anyway, the point is, guys, is that I don't know what to tell you. I can bet YouTube is going to think this is going to feel really uncomfortable to YouTube right now.
Who the fuck? Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to say this honestly.
Yeah?
I think they're kind of getting ready for this. I think they know that they unfortunately are part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. I'm sorry, but that's what it's going to come down to. Coming me almost made me have a BM in my pants. Yeah, well.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, Leo. I agree with you. So, unfortunately, I started recording this locally a little late, so hopefully I can download this later on and put this on Patreon. I did start recording it locally, though, so we'll have a good part of the conversation on the show. I think YouTube, like I said, is picked the losing side in this battle. I think YouTube has picked the losing side. Because don't forget, the people in the countryside, especially a lot of retired military guys and gals, are going to seriously be able to protect themselves. I saw a video talking just about this. The people in the countryside are more prepared for the kind of warfare that's going to come. The people in the city are going to depend on the city to protect itself. But when you defunded the police aren't going to be there for you anymore. Well, I'll leave it up on YouTube unless YouTube boots it off.
Fuck. I gotta restart my computer.
Okay. I'll leave this up here because I think we need to cover this topic. I mean, YouTube may not like it because it's reality. Just that a lot of people are not prepared for what's coming. But I do kind of wish that, people were more prepared for what's coming on. Everybody was prepared for 2012. They don't realize that 2012 was the beginning. It was not going to be, one event that's going to be the end of the calendar. It was going to be a group of events after that date. I believe the Mayans knew that. Because starting in 2011, if you remember, that was the last normal Christmas. Actually, 2010 was, for me, was the last normal Christmas. And then 2011, we lost a local friend. We lost one of my cats. And then things just started to go downhill. By 2012, things were really starting to fall apart quickly. YouTube should... I agree. And YouTube should leave it up. I wonder what the viewers or the reviewers of these shows think. That's a good question. If you're reviewing the stream and you are for YouTube and you see the stream and your question is should I keep this up? Does this violate advertising guidelines? Does this violate terms of service? Well, no, because one sense she's not showing any violent action. She's just talking about what is likely to happen. Now, if you're a YouTuber reviewer and you're seeing shows like this on multiple channels, how would you react? Would you start to say to yourself, you know what? Maybe we got a problem here. Maybe I need to prepare for this. Maybe something really is wrong. Maybe these people that are saying this are just trying to point out or warn us. I mean, I think Alex Jones was first, and he took the hit for the team, but I think in some ways he may have been just as right when he said that YouTube will come after you too if you speak out against what's going on. Frank Hayes said, maybe if white people start calling up blacks white supremacists and maybe think about using the Rittenhouse method or some of the more uppity ones. I think right now, we need another Martin Luther King. We need another leader to come in and speak out against the atrocities that are going on against the two groups. Maybe even somebody that's like in the middle. Let's say a Native American came out and said, look, as a Native American, I want to give my say about what I think's going on. Maybe a Native American might be able to get some supporters. After all, they were, unfortunately, as we know, after Thanksgiving in New England, the Native Americans started getting treated pretty badly at the time of the westward expansion. Michelle, you make a lot of sense, and I do believe in the things you are saying. I myself worried about those things, but on the other hand, my husband never worries and said everything's going to be fine. I try to be in the middle. I would like to see things work out. I really would. But because I'm always thinking about things, I'm also aware that some things are just need to be prepared for, regardless. I just wish that I could be sure that everything is going to work out and that nothing comes of this. Brian K says, I think we need a leader willing to put rounds down range of those people and send them back to hell. Well, I think we need to also get rid of a lot of their propaganda that they've been preaching right now to the unaware masses that are totally unaware of what's going on. As you know, there's a lot of people that don't know anything about what they're talking about. It's all propaganda. Critical race theory is propaganda. And the sad truth is, a large majority of the people in the world are taking that propaganda as gospel. Now they want to destigmatize pedophile behavior. Guys, there are some things in the world that I cannot understand, and sitting along saying it's okay to be a pedophile is certainly not one of them that I will allow, I believe in. I think it's discouraging. I think it's disgusting to think of some adult doing some nasty atrocities to children. I think that's disgusting. What you and a consenting adult do to each other is fine. That's between you two. I'm not going to stop you. But the minute you try to go against the poor child and rob them of their childhood, I draw the line there. Why don't people have... Brian, first of all, it's expensive. Okay? That's one reason why. It's expensive. It's just expensive to do that. It takes too much time and planning, and it's... The only thing we can do is try to explain to people when we see what's wrong with the system. I have never seen the world in such disarray. Neither have I, not in this lifetime anyway. Or in my other 33 other lives. I have never seen the world this bad. I have never seen it this bad. It's totally a mess. It's a global problem. Brian K. said you could even make members of the media read a statement before you aim at the back of their heads and put them away. No, Brian, that's not the answer here. We have to change we have to help share and educate them. After all, a lot of innocent people may not know what's going on. Okay? It's the innocent bystanders that are going to get hurt the most. It's not those that are already planning this. Those are the ones that already know what to expect. It's the innocent bystanders, like those 18 children in Konisha and their 5 adults that passed away at the Christmas pageant. Those people were not ready for that. They didn't know. That's a tragedy, and that's a really sad tragedy. People got to know, but I know some people would like to say everything's okay. I wish I can guarantee that everything would be okay, but you know what? It's not okay. when innocent people get stuck in the middle of something that they had no idea what was going on. I don't know about you. I don't know how many of those 18 children had any expectation that their lives would be irreparably changed because of something they didn't know about. Maybe the parents didn't even know about it. Maybe the parents didn't think it was going to happen in that community. From what I understand, that city sounds like Winston. If you think about it, a smaller town, well, something like that happened here. It would totally devastate the community. It'd be like a cold shower to when you just expected to have a nice, warm, hot one. I believe I had a past life too. I believe it was in Titanic and had nightmares for years about it. Yeah. I had nightmares too. Not about the Titanic. I had nightmares from my last life. In 1841. I was shot in cold blood by another rancher with my daughter in my arms. That's what happened to me in 1841. Actually, 1846. Was it 1846? 1846. I died with my daughter in my arms. She was 5 years old. Cold, point-blank range. After this man and my husband got into an argument over land rights. That's one of the reasons why I'm really, really seriously concerned for the innocent people that are going to be stuck in this. Michelle, they are eventually going to have all normal people phased out. The media has clearly weaponized, and I think this Mr. Rittenhouse made it clear the people can defend themselves. It's not supposed to scare you. You're supposed to actually come in those types of dreams. Well, I think Brian is kind of partially pulling your leg, but I know the dream you're talking about. It's not a wet dream. It's a warning. It's a foreshadowing. Because you know what happened in the past is going to happen again. It's a feeling of despair. When you feel powerless. That's what it is. But here's one thing that you can learn from that dream. Okay? Which is basically this expression. Either poop or get off the pot. Period. In other words, you have two choices. You can either A, similar situations, you can go down with the ship, or you can go find the nearest way possible to safely get off the ship and get into a lifeboat. That's what it means. That's the reality. Oh, guys, I want you to think about what I said tonight. Pray for me, pray for your friends, pray for your loved ones. It is already currently Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving in approximately 24 hours. Okay? So give thanks for the good things you have. Just be aware that this may be the last of the normal Thanksgivings we ever have. I don't think there will be a normal one after this one. Yes, it does. Thank you. Yes, I will. And thank you so much for having the stream tonight. Why should I say this morning? You're welcome. Yeah, we'll keep it up here as long as YouTube will let me have it up here. I did record part of it. I'll try to download the original source and back it up, get it off the hard drive. But one day it's going to come that YouTube is going to turn me into a greasy spot in front of their San Bruno office Or one day they're going to say, no more of this channel. Who knows? I don't know. I have to admit, it would be a real tragedy when the day comes, but sooner or later it's going to come. That YouTube is going to pull the plug on my channel, and it could happen at any time. When that happens, it's going to be a major loss for both me and you all. I've gotten to know you guys as people. We've all shared many good stories among each other. We've had fun over the 11 years I've been on YouTube. I started out in 2010. Actually, no, not even that long ago. Oh my God, 2010. Yeah, I actually set up the channel in July 16th of 2010. It's 2021. I got to know a lot of you guys through my videos. You guys know me pretty well, too. And, so, you never know what's going to happen. Online Burger Boy said, why don't you delete your channel? The sad truth is YouTube might do that on me. I don't know how far YouTube is willing to go to shut up the truth. Denise says, we never know Michelle, but I want to thank you again, and I'll be watching for your show. I can't join. You have a blessed night. Good night to you all. Thanks, Denise. And we will try, if I'm awake, I should be. I'll wake for 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we'll try to cover new stuff. And maybe we'll have some fun. Maybe talk about everyday stuff. But tonight, I just wanted to cover something that was a lot darker than most people would like to talk about. Because I think sometimes the night hours seem to do weird stuff, and it seems to bring out the boogeymen. And let's be honest, some of this stuff is scary. Alright, guys, for now, I want you all to have a good night's sleep. Everybody's getting ready to go to sleep. I am too. And so tomorrow morning is 10 a.m. if I'm awake. Okay, I'm going to say if. I may not be awake. I don't know. So 10 a.m. So tomorrow we'll talk more and we'll cover more stuff. More fun stuff, like the morning shows usually do. I notice more and more that the morning shows are getting a yellow $sign. And I don't know if there's something in the show. I don't think it's just the title. I don't think it's just the show content. But there's something YouTube or somebody is flagging the streams. And I don't think it's just the algorithms. And, so I think somebody's deliberately doing it in the background. Because 99% of the time the shows do get monetized. And, yeah, it's funny because this morning's one is still not monetized yet. It's still for review. So I'm wondering what's going on. But for now, everybody stay safe. Try to get some sleep. Try to relax. And we'll see what happens, okay? Bye for now. Bye, guys.